Today's build is pretty interesting. Do you want near infinite damage buffs at just the throw of a grenade? Yeah? Then I present to you the Volatile Falcon build. Pretty good name for a build, right? Yeah, I thought it was a good build name too. With this build, you'll be making everything go boom. You'll be dealing lots of damage to bosses, as well as being able to do some pretty serious damage to champs as well. Moving on to the build setup for the super. For the super, it can be any super you choose within the Void subclass. You're also going to want Marksman Dodge for that quick and easy reload. You're then going to want Triple Jump, just because it's the most convenient jump, Snare Bomb, and a Vortex Grenade. Moving on to aspects, you want Starless Executioner. Defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility and true sight, as well as Vanishing Step. Dodging makes you invisible. For the fragments, the fragment we're going to be running is Echo of Reprisal. Final blows when surrounded by combatants grant super energy. Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to your weapons. And then we've got Echo of Remnants, your lingering grenade effects. Vortex Grenade, Mid Walls, Void Spike, and Axiom Bolt have increased duration. And lastly, we're going to want Echo of Expulsion. Void ability, final blows cause targets to explode. Now onto the mods, you're going to want 2 Ashes to Assets mods, as well as 1 Firepower mod. Then for Gauntlets, you're going to want Bolstering Detonation, and as whatever champion mod you want to run, and Reaping Wellmaker. When dodging, you will spawn an Elemental Well after a kill. And now the driving force of the build, the Gyrfalcon. You're going to want an Elemental Charge for this build, so that will be on the Gyrfalcon. And the Gyrfalcon has the perk See Me, Feel Me. Your weapons gain a bonus of damage briefly after you emerge from being invisible. And then for boots, you're going to want to run 1 Innovation mod, a Recuperation mod, and another Firepower mod. And finally, for the cloak, you're going to want to run 2 mods, as well as another Firepower mod. Now, the gun that I'm using is the Unforgiven Submachine Gun. It's void, so it will proc the volatile rounds, as well as I'm running it with Rampage, which will give me a damage increase, and Demolitionist, which will just help me bump up my grenade energy a little bit quicker. So how does this build work? Well, you want to firstly throw a grenade down. That will proc the volatile rounds. You'll then want to dodge. That will make you invisible, and then once you start shooting your gun, you will then get the buff from Gyrfalcon. Afterwards, it will drop a Elemental Well. When you pick that Elemental Well up, it will then increase your grenade damage due to the Firepower mods. Basically, it's just a rinse and repeat method of this. Every time you get a kill when you have the volatile rounds due to one of our aspects, it will then make us go invisible, and then due to one of our fragments, it will then keep proccing the Gyrfalcon's buff over and over again. Now, as with the last build, how viable is this build in high tier, nightfalls, and even raids? Well, I took it into Master Lost Sectors, bit like the other build, and it put in a lot of work against the Overload champions, as well as some of the barrier champions. Obviously with the barrier it's a little bit more difficult. From what I could tell, it didn't struggle at all, but it's a very comfortable build. It managed to dismantle the champions very quickly. Like, very quickly. And even against the boss it was putting in work. Against the boss with the volatile rounds as well as the Gyrfalcon damage boost, it was doing some pretty insane damage, especially for a machine gun. Not to mention when you add on top of your super, which is an additional, I believe, 20% to 30% increase in damage. Now, this build has a lot of potential, very similar to the Necrotic Crit build. However, this build relies more on your ability to dodge and set up the build before being able to initiate the amazing boom factor of the build. I also wanted to say thank you very much for all the support on the last build video. We're nearing about nearly 2,000 views on that video now. It's absolutely amazing. All the support's been great. So I hope you've enjoyed this build video, and I have been your host, Ryoshi, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.